I wanted to stay on the Lakers path. Is the Kyrie talks to LA is the heart still beating or is it just dead? Are we not going to see that?
Honestly, man, I'm hopeful that there is a chance to get him here. Like, I think that when you look at the Lakers, the need for a player of Kyrie's caliber is there. It's readily apparent. Someone who could
Mhm.
step in, maybe be the bridge between LeBron and AD from a talent perspective. You know, step up for one of them, be the main guy on any given night, give the Lakers one of the coveted big three. You know, but also his shot making, his ability to create his own
Mhm.
offense consistently, an additional shooter. You know, because that's just something that's needed in general. Like, it's apparent, right? And for the Nets, they don't need Kyrie. Like, I mean, they do, but they don't want Kyrie. You know, so
Yeah.
you would think that you have two willing partners just due to circumstance. Now, the problem is that, as with every team, it's not just the Nets, but the Nets want both first round picks. You know, particularly if they are giving Joe Harris away as well, who the Lakers seem to undervalue. And I get it, injury concerns, ankle injury, all of that, but you're also getting like one of the best shooters in the NBA over the last couple of seasons.
Mhm.
That would tremendously benefit your team as
Yeah.
well, in addition to
Match
Kyrie.
made in heaven.
Exactly, and the Lakers for some reason seem not want to give one of their picks, and also want Seth Curry over Harris, which I understand. But in this case, like the two picks are a non-starter. You have to think about that because one of those picks is just what's the price of doing business to get rid of the contract of Russell Westbrook, and then the
Mhm.
other pick is for the assets you would get in return.
Mhm.
Kyrie, you get both. You get okay pick Nets gone. Now, yes, he may be possibly, an issue for the Lakers is in another capacity, possibly, but I'm saying in terms of contract wise, not even a chance. So you give away the pick for us, and then you give away a pick to get Kyrie and Harris or Curry, whatever. And it seems, unfortunately, that's what's kind of irritating, Brandon. It seems like it's kind of all in the Lakers right now. Like, the Nets aren't going, now we don't want to play ball. The Lakers just like, no, we don't want to give you both of those. And we're going to hold those
Yeah.
because of what? Like,
Yeah,
for
I
a guy
mean,
who's in seventh grade right now, like,
literally. I mean, the one misconception that a lot of people have about the Lakers and their pick situation is it's not that we don't have just those two picks. We also have our 2020 next year. We have all these couple years. It's just some of the deals that we made previously limit us with the step-in rule. Like you can't. We still have our 2026 or 2025 or 2024 or some of those picks, but they're
mm-hmm.
just either swaps. But even then, swaps you still get your pick. It's just the worst. It's the worst of the two.
The worst of the
So
two.
if if all it took were those two picks and you're Rob Pelinka, you're the Lakers management, and like a deal lined up where it's Kyrie or Joe Harris, Seth Curry, and they wanted those two picks unprotected, are you pulling the trigger? Like, what's your thought behind it?
Oh, I most certainly am. I think you're doing a disservice if you're not like giving yourself up. Like, here's the thing: you're trying to put yourself in the best position to maximize for a
LeBron's
championship,
window.
right? Exactly. LeBron's window, which he seems to be holding open by sheer force of will, because let's be
Mm-hmm.
real, as you know, Brand, the Lakers over the last couple of seasons have not done him any favors. So
None.
when you look at that, it's okay, how can we do that? And yes, if that means giving away some picks right now, even like you said, pick swap, you're still getting a pick. Do you not trust your scouting department that's given you so many gems over the years, whether it's
But
Kuzma with the 27th pick, Caruso
Clarkson,
undrafted, Clarkson. I mean, going way back, like you said, these
you
other
going right?
gems
Yeah,
in the second round. No, I'm saying like you've given like a plethora of picks
yeah.
over a substantial number of years of players who have come through. Austin Reeves last season, like
I
like
love him so
you,
much, man.
yes, me too, man. Like you have ascertained, the scouting department for the Lakers has ascertained good talent and done this consistently over the years. So a pick swap should be nothing. Even not having a pick should be nothing, because at the end of the day, the Lakers, like we saw this past year, it's only money to get into the second round. Now the fact the Lakers didn't
Literally,
get Jaden Hardy for me
literally,
is something, exactly. There's a struggle. Like, thank you, Brandon. That face is how I felt.
man.
Max Christie. I mean, I hope he's good, but like Jaden Hardy was right there. But that's besides the point. The point is that if you want to get a draft pick, add some young talent, you can do that. It's not out of the realm reality. But what is out of the realm reality is thinking you can win a championship with this team is currently constructed. Like,
Yeah,
even as your most optimistic, Brand, do you think a championship
yeah.
team's coming
No,
out of this?
yeah. If I'm being honest, like the more I think about it, is like LeBron, like is he's past. I'm not saying he's past anything, but he's past like carrying a team like we talked about. He's not
Yeah.
2018. He's not going to take us to the finals. I mean, if we do get crazy AD and like LeBron's still scoring how he is, even then, like there's a hole as your third option. It all relies on Russell Westbrook. But like I said, I guess the whole Kyrie to LA is like relies all on Kevin Durant if Kevin Durant gets moved, and that's like the big domino effect, you know. So as time goes on, I feel like if KD were to be traded, he would have been traded already. So
Mhm.
that's what makes me less optimistic that a deal will get done bringing in Kyrie Irving.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I guess my only saving grace to that brand is like, listen, do you want to have this over your head in training camp? And we've
no
seen a few
facts.
teams, that think they want to play that game. You have a few teams that think they want to do that dance, and then training camp
Mm-hmm.
comes into question. Like, okay, we out. We saw the Rockets. It took super long. They
Mm-hmm.
played it, what, a couple of games, like, they went through training, and then they got too much, and like that's what I think is going to happen in this case as well, unless KD decides to walk that trade request back. At some point, the Nets are just going to face it like they did Kyrie, and even then, remember that Kyrie situation ended up folding as well. So it's not like you have the most reliable Nets front office to go, yeah, we're going to stand by our principles here, and this is what it's going to be. The minute it gets a little too hot, they might be tempted to finally make the move they should have done, one could argue, for a minute now.
And something they could do is like, right. I think it's December 15th and January 15th are when all
Hmm.
players can be traded. So December 15th is like certain guys can be traded, and then January 15th is when like even moves that were made in the summer, like everything's good. So I mean, that's where the optimism comes in, where it's like, okay, like we can wait till then. You know, maybe the price for Westbrook, we don't have to give him these first round picks. Like,
Hmm.
you know, so that's what keeps me optimistic. I guess my mindset is like if it doesn't happen now, it's not gonna happen. But I could very well be wrong. Like they can wait because there's a lot of even right now we're so unflexible and like so are other. This is probably like the worst year for the KD trade, Kyrie stuff to happen because like so many
Yeah.
teams are capped in certain situations or they just can't trade certain guys. So I guess we could hold this off till like December, January. So I guess that's what us Laker fans are probably gonna be waiting for the trade deadline or around there.
That's all we have, man, to hope for right now. I
Mhm.
mean, hope, obviously, Lakers come out the gate strong. Let's say that, like you said, this training camp, Austin Reeves, Stanley Johnson. We've seen some of these returning younger players in the gym. Hopefully, we see. We've seen Anthony Davis working. Hopefully, we
Mhm.
see Taylor Horn Tucker, because I'd like to see some, production out of him. In his, what, this has been his
Yeah.
third year now. So there's hope, I think, that these guys gel, and then at that point, they come out strong out the gate, and they just have that. Hey, we're gonna grind for wins. Unfortunately, injuries are the reality in the NBA. Slow starts are also something that happens. Like, the Lakers could find themselves in a more advantageous situation for them to maybe make some noise with the bigger trades. So yeah, it's just treading water and having total buy-in, I think, and a lot of that's going to come to Russell Westbrook, specifically. You know. But also the role players around him, as well as LeBron, AD, try to get this boat all in one direction, to win those championship waters.
Yeah. So like, my last thought about the Lakers would be, look, my expect. I'm telling you, like I'm so optimistic about this. I really like. I feel like we're gonna surprise a lot of people in the beginning of the season. Like
Okay.
I think Darvin Ham's gonna get these boys ready to play, and like our problem was like we didn't get ready for games. Like we'd come out
Nah.
and bro, we'd be down 15-2,
Yep.
all because like it was just no one took accountability and no one knew their role and no one. I feel like there was no belief in certain players. Like Frank Vogel didn't really believe in Westbrook on both sides of the ball.
No,
He didn't really
which
believe on him. Like you know, like I feel like that does a lot. Darvin Ham even during the summer league, the benefit of being in summer league is like you see these guys like walk around you. You see how everyone like can come up to some guy. Darvin Ham, everybody was going up to him, and it was all smiles, all conversations. One thing I've been saying, there was a moment in I think it was the Lakers Hornets game where Darvin Ham there was a free throw. Someone was shooting free throws, and Darvin Ham had pulled one of the dudes aside, and this was a guy that's probably not gonna make the team, and he
mhm.
had put his arm around him, telling this and that, and like the dude just played hard every minute down after,
Wow.
and it's like that does something to a team. Like that confidence
Yes.
is the biggest thing in the NBA. Like it may not look like it right now, but when someone has trust in a dude, it just changes the landscape of everything. So I think we're gonna surprise a lot of people with how we start off the season. Um, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I feel like that's how it's
Okay.
gonna play out, and I may be wrong, and I'm used to being wrong with Lakers. Like ever since I've been
L-
a Laker fan, man, when we lost Dwight, "Oh, we're gonna make the playoffs. We're gonna make the playoffs. We got Steve Blake and Pau Gasol. We're gonna make the
Oh, I was
playoffs."
right there with you though. I
Oh
was right there
man,
with you,
so
man. I was right there with you. Yeah.
I'm keeping my optimism alive. I'm just gonna put that out there, and if it fails, I'm cool with getting clowned at. I'm a Laker fan. It's cool. It's whatever.
It's kind of the
So
hat we wear.
exactly.